Hello and welcome back to Mind of Success. I'm your host, Moni, a Mexican British living in Asia. I work in fintech and build digital banks from scratch. In my years in the industry, I've realized most of us are in a vulnerable financial position. However, building a business can be a catalyst for change. So I created this podcast. It's about business stories we do not talk about. I chat with entrepreneurs, CEOs, and experts about their journeys, struggles, and lessons to extract gems of wisdom and practical tools so that we can thrive and create the impact we want. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. Today, I am very excited. I will not hide this, like everybody gets excited when it comes to sports because it helps, it brings like that vibe, that je ne sais quoi that brings people together. And when it comes to sports, like, of course, there's like an event that brings the whole world together. And that's extremely exciting. And that is the Olympics. So many of us we watch the Olympics from home. That's like, yay. Others, like I was very fortunate to be change maker, e.g. a volunteer during the Olympics. And it was like amazing. Others, you get to go to the Olympics. But there's just like a very few people in this world that are actually in the Olympics, like competing. And I think most of us, we like respect and admire these guys and girls like so much. So today I have a treat for you. And we have David Karasek. He is a former Olympian. He's a swimmer. He was in the Lodon Olympics 2012. Actually, we were in London together. I was a volunteer in those games. So David, welcome to the show. It's an honor and pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me on. What a lovely introduction, and good on you to be part of the Olympics. Awesome.
Yeah, it was so exciting. It's like, yes, it brings that exactly. I remember like London was so vibrant during the Olympics. Exactly, the Olympics bring people together and they bring the best out of people. So I have so many questions for you, like so many questions. But I want to get into your mind more than anything. There's kind of curiosity questions, but more like mind questions. And I think, well, I'll go with the most exciting one because it's like top of my head. So when we were chatting, you mentioned that you swam, e.g., you competed, you raced, you were next to Michael Phelps. How was that experience? And I want to know like two things. A, the exciting beat of, whoa, I'm next to this guy. And then the challenging beat that we all get when you are working, or in this case, competing racing with people that are at the top of their game, and you're like, whoa, and it gives you a little bit of anxiety as well, or like fear, like both sides of that experience. Can you expand on that, please?
Yeah, sure. It was actually, a pretty shitty experience. I mean, as you say, it's like, it's both, right? Because you see like the starting list come out and, I tell you, it was about a month before the Olympics, right? And it was in Paris, and Michael Phelps was already over in Europe, swimming that competition. And the start list comes out for Paris, and you see Michael Phelps lane 4 and then David Karasek lane 3, I think it was. And you get nervous. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. But, you jump in the water. I jumped in the water, and already, you start to see on the right side, you start to see only his feet, right? Because he's pulling ahead, right, already. And I had, I swam a terrible race, right? If that was Michael Phelps or not, doesn't even the next day I swam a shitty race and he wasn't there. And it was really tough because I was very, very slow. And, a month before the Olympics, right, is like your biggest competition that you've worked for years. Yes. And then you swim terrible races in preparation. And my dad actually, I'm still not angry with him, but he told my mom, I'm not coming to the Olympics. He's going to fuck it up and all that. And, imagine So yeah, it was like,
Pressure, like so much
yeah,
pressure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was high. So it was both. It was awesome. And then I saw him again in the Olympics, right? Didn't swim next to him there, but we had a chat, and then yeah, he won my event in London, right? The 200
Yeah.
individual
Yeah.
medley. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was both, huh? Very the roller coaster of the emotions, from like excited to frustrated, sad, self doubt, all these good things, huh?
So how do you manage those emotions as they come up? Because like you say, it's just like a month before the Olympics. When that happens to us normal people who are working, you're like, yeah, I may have had a bad day at work, and then you just like, oh, go with a roller coaster, and you can like indulge in being those emotions. But you've been preparing like for so many years to go to the Olympics, and this happens like a month before, and obviously, and even your dad, like family, saying things that add pressure, then it's a how do you, what was going on in your mind, how did you manage to stay centered, focused, high performance, and not allow a failure, quote unquote failure, impact your future performance? That's a
Hmm.
great question.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy, hey. So if I talk about it now, it's because there's a been 10 years, right, since, so I have like some distance around that. But what helped me was I just every time when I was broken down from hard training before an important competition, I swam relatively slow compared to others. There were times even in training when we were swimming for a long time that even girls started to pass me because I was just tired. And I knew in my heart that when I rest well, and I knew my coaches knew that as well. And you know, it was just in the moment, but I knew I had like an inner confidence, an inner knowing, because it's happened before like that or similar, not on that stage, but still I've had the experience. And I just knew if I rest really well, my performance is gonna literally jump like crazy, right? So we call that in swimming, we call that tapering, which is like you
Mm,
swim less and less and less kilometers, and then you're like at the top of your performance. And I just held the trust in the process, because we've done it before,
yeah.
we've tested it before, and I mean it's been towards the end of my career. And I think it goes back to, and you'll appreciate that, I think it's like knowing yourself,
Yes.
right? It's like knowing what thoughts and feelings you have, and why you're having them. And just knowing yourself is really, really important. And there's many, many ways to do that. And for me, one of the ways was swimming, right?
Yeah. Oh, that is
Yeah,
cool. Knowing
yeah,
yourself via sports, basically.
yeah. I
In
mean, you
your
put
case,
so
swimming.
much, yeah, and so much time and effort in it. And I mean, you're spending 4 hours a day in the pool, or 3 hours, and it means a lot, right? So the
Yeah.
emotions, they are very, they go through the whole range. They go from blissful and like a happiest moment to very sad and questioning everything and all the years. And so, you got to know yourself. And also, I think, and now I know that, I didn't know that at the time, is that the thoughts and feelings, they're not real, right? I mean, they feel real, but it's something very personal. It's not, other people feel different about this.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing too, but I didn't know it at the time,
Yes.
fortunately.
And that's a very good point. Can you expand on that thing that thoughts and emotions are not real?
Yeah. I mean, so as a simplification of life, right? What I've learned, or what was taught to me, but that was after swimming, right? That was, unfortunately, it was after swimming. That we as human beings, we have two modes of awareness. One is perception, and one is intuition, right? And that perception is informed, we are informed by thoughts and feelings, right? And they are very heavy in your face. It's hard to miss the thoughts, or it's hard to miss the feelings. I mean, they're like in your face. But intuition is a bit different,
Yes. That's
right?
a
And the
very good
problem with
distinction.
thoughts, yeah, I mean, we can go there, but the problem with thoughts and feelings, right, is that they're based on the past, right? And that is a problem. They're so in your face. And if you take your thoughts and feelings as the real thing, as the truth, you're limiting yourself, because all that stuff is based on the past. And so what I'm proposing, I'm trying to say is that we're doing well, or we will do very well if we start to connect with the other mode of awareness, which is your intuition. Right.
Yes, which that's a very good point, because then after the Olympics, then you did your banking career, and then after banking, basically right now you are a mindset coach and you work with athletes, but you also work with people in corporate to have that world class mindset, basically. How have you helped your clients in corporate connect with that intuition?
Yeah, see, I mean, it's actually very easy. You just do it. You just say how it is that you have it. You, Monica, you know it, right? You have
I
intuition.
know it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. People like they intuitively, we know that we have it. We know it deep inside of us. We know it. It's just like we've been conditioned, especially in the corporate world, right? If you're outside where creativity is kind of crippled and all that, it's we're conditioned out of it, but it doesn't mean that it's not there. So I just throw him in the cold water basically, and start doing it. I go to what I call like a land of plenty with them, a place where everything that their heart desires already exists. Take them through a short guided meditation, and we'll go there and we just start, right, and we see what comes. And it's been wonderful. It's been really wonderful. And creativity, intuition, like I can give you an example in sports. There's
Yeah.
a beautiful story with Roger Federer. You know Roger Federer.
Of course, he's my friend.
Yeah, but you got to be a
He
fan.
is your friend.
Yeah.
I'm just a fan. He's your friend.
No, but he's not my friend, right? But I'm a huge fan as well, and I mean, an incredible athlete, right? But there's a cool story about his backhand, because he has this iconic backhand, one-handed, right, like paf, and it looks really cool. And what happened was that the 30 years before Roger came, every tennis professional would teach the students to do the backhand with two hands because that was supposed to be the best way and the most efficient and so on, right? And what Roger's coach did, he just told him, be in the end result of what you want with your backhand, right? Like a fast cross court palm and where it lands, just be with that and let your body figure out how you want to hit the ball. And then Roger, because it seemed to work best for his size, for his strength, he found a new way and he, literally created the best backhand in the game at the time. Right. And so that's creativity. And so, let go of the status quo of everything that and just find out what works for you. And that's what intuition is, because your intuition knows best for you, right?
Yes. And then you mentioned there that as well, it's not only about intuition, but it's like trusting yourself and trusting the process.
Mhm.
You mentioned that it's, let's say in your example, that it's like, hey, you had a bad day, a bad race, but then you just know it's not even trusting. It's a mix of trusting and knowing and believing in yourself and life, the universe, or whatever is it that people believe in. But it's like believing that every single step is taking you to where you need to go.
It's beautiful,
I don't
right?
know.
It's
That
simple.
just came
It's
out.
not.
Yeah.
It's simple. Have you heard of Bob Proctor?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So unfortunately, he passed. Right. So sad. He passed like
Oh,
2 weeks. Yeah.
I didn't
88.
hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super sad.
Yeah.
I
Super
did
sad.
yeah, I did a 1 year coaching program with him.
Yeah.
And
He's amazing, right?
yes, he's like his program properly changed the way in which I think about many things. I didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he passed, and but he had a good quote, right? And that quote was, "Faith, based on understanding, is the key to freedom." And when you think about it, right? I mean, for example, also, if you have faith based on understanding, and understand there's so many scientific, like, what we're talking about intuition, it's not mumbo jumbo. There's science, there's scientific evidence, like hard evidence. Even the most, the IT guy who's like so into, science, like even that guy can be convinced that there's something. You don't have to be spiritual to do that. So if you get the understanding, you read through what intuition is, what energy is, how that stuff works. it's really easy to show people that there is more, right? And deep inside, I think most people, not all, right, but a lot of people long for it because they know there's more. Our spirit wants to expand, right? And so, yeah, faith and trust and belief, and not always doubting. I mean, like it takes so much energy to doubt, and then there's all these negative feelings coming from it, and it just doesn't serve you. It makes no sense.
Yes. The question that I have for you and that for me and for everyone, it's like, yes, I love that. I've heard that so many times. But the question that my clients ask me all the time is like, how? It's like, yes, Monica, I get the concept, but how do I take that concept into something real into my life?
So can we define like what? What's the question again? Can you repeat it, please?
Like, how do you trust?
Ah, okay. I don't even think you need to trust. It works even without trusting, because when I first started in this work, I still had doubts, right? If I'm honest, like I was practicing the work, I was doing my visualization, I was practicing intuition and all that, but I still had doubts. But the beautiful thing is that there's laws of the universe, and those laws of the universe, they just are. They are. It doesn't matter if you believe in them or not. Like, I mean, the simplest example is gravity. This is one of the laws, right? It's gravity. If you believe in it or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. It will just be, right? So if you learn about these laws, and you don't even have to trust yourself, you just do. I mean, you just align yourself with these laws, and it's very structural. It's not, we are so arrogant in a way that I go, oh, that doesn't work for me. It works for everybody, but not me, right? That's bullshit. It's all structural. Is that you either, you use it and you align with it and you'll get results, or you don't. Doesn't matter. You don't even have to believe in it. And I think that's the cool thing. It's like, it's nothing personal. It's structural. Just like water is taking the path of least resistance, right? It's always flowing naturally, effortless. It's just flowing. It just is. And this is the same with the energies. I mean,
Just flow. Well, but it is true. It's just like
yeah,
trust. Flow.
yeah.
Don't force
So
things.
yeah, you can even do it without trust, right? You work with someone who knows what the structure is, and you just go for it. Sometimes, I mean, in coaching, I don't even know what my client is doing really, and they're all of a sudden having promotions and getting new responsibilities, new team, and I don't even know what they're doing. I mean, a little bit, because I don't coach them, I don't tell them what to do. I just keep them on their highest creative frequency, and they figure it out, right? Sometimes I have an input, and what's obvious, I get like insights and all that, but it's them. They are powerful. It's not me.
What do you do to trigger them to go into their highest frequency?
So we got a couple of like exercises depending on where they're at. But for example, one of the exercises that I take them through in the first session is we go to the land of plenty, which is the place where everything that their heart desires already exists. And when you work with intuition, what's really important, right, in my experience and from what I'm learning from my coach, is that you have to set a strong intention. You must work with intention, right? And so we really frame it why we're doing this exercise, right? And you put that in the consciousness of the person. And I actually go to that land of plenty with the client. And and then there's a trick that you just imagine you're like going through a golden curtain, because the gold is like the highest vibration, and things like that. And then you're there, and you just, I mean, it's very simple, right? Life is simple. They just start to notice what's there, what do they want, right? And I'll do the same. And then I'll share with them what I got. They'll share with me what they got. And then it's, most of it is overlapping. I get a bit something that the client doesn't get. Client gets a bit more. And then together we have a beautiful land of plenty. And from there, we define and see what are the life choices and what is the things you want to visualize every day. But it's beautiful, and it's really simple, right? It's not woo woo. It's simple.
No, it's simple. I love the concept because basically what you're doing is you're giving the space people to create, to imagine, to really connect, like you say, to really connect what they want from their heart, not from the mind. And then once you take them to that space, it's kind of like exploration. And exactly as a coach, you kind of get excited with them. We give them permission to get excited. And then it's like, boom, it's kind of like the images just come, right? And it's like you start elaborating from that. That's cool.
How do you do it? What's like your way to do it?
I think I do something similar. I don't go through the golden curtain as such,
Mhm.
but I do similar to you. It's like I first do some kind of breathing, and then after the breathing, take them through a guided meditation. I like doing this exercise, similar exercise with the eyes closed. So
Yeah.
actually, the client has eyes closed. I have my eyes closed, and like you say, it's like based on intuition, like you say, it's like we connect, kind of. And then usually I work with many women. So it's like she starts kind of like talking, and then I just start kind of elaborating or just asking the right, guiding her into the, oh, and how does it feel? Or how is it? And many times it's also not only the positive sides, like the side of possibility, but also the painful sides. It's like, what is so painful right now? Because many times I find that we as humans, we struggle to put words to our pain, and then going to that, basically dropping to the heart, and then doing the breathing, going into that safe space. That's what I create, a safe space where you can either imagine or just connect to the pain. And then it's like, kind of like, yeah, sometimes the tears come through the sessions,
Mhm.
but it's kind of beautiful at the same time, because once you're connected to that pain, you're not denying it, you see it. And then usually it's a process of, by seeing it, just like accepting it and seeing all the beautiful things that that pain is giving you, and from there kind of release that, love it, uh, embrace it, be grateful for that, and then continue building into the possibility based on that. Yeah, that's
Wow.
what I do.
That's very cool. And it's actually, wow, that is very powerful and it's very similar. I also say, because you know, these new age spiritual people, right? They say like life is all abundant, unicorns and rainbows, and they have fridge magnets, money is flowing to them, they smell money, and they're poor as fuck. It's because they are neglecting current reality. I call it current reality, is like the, you know, the truth of what's going on. Like, where are you in relation to the vision that you have? You must incorporate that. And that's where, as you said, you dig that up. It's a lot of intuition, feelings, and you just look at it and you spotlight it. And that's all you need to do. Just notice it, be aware, accept it.
Yes.
No need to fix yourself. Just become
No.
aware of things. You're not broken. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's powerful. It's a cool message too, like for people, right? I mean, like if you think about it, if you think of yourself as being broken, it sounds like really hard work to fix yourself. And it's like, oh, then I fix that, and there's a new problem coming, and that's happening, right? And it's much easier, and much simpler, and much more efficient and fun, and useful to just assume that we're not broken, because we're not. There's just a little bit of tar or whatever over our
Yes,
light,
yes.
and I mean, but we're not broken.
No, definitely we're not. On the
Mm,
contrary.
exactly.
So, yeah. So, talking about that, of course, I'm like, of course, as humans, we have times where we have like, whoops, ups and downs and roller coasters. And yeah, society puts like ideas in our heads. Maybe they don't tell you like you're broken, but they put pressure, right? Either to have a successful career, in your case, to win a race, I don't know, relationships, having babies, like wherever, having the car, like there's pressure from different angles, whether you're a man, woman, it doesn't matter the age, nationality, there's always pressure. And there's points, days, sometimes weeks in our lives when it's hard. And it's like, ooh, and you don't feel like connecting to that beautiful space. You're just like in negative space. How how did you get out of that?
You
Like
just said
you,
it.
as in you, David.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you. And again, I mean, maybe it will just even disappoint you how easy it is. But you just said some days you don't feel like connecting to that beautiful space. And as we said, feelings aren't real, so I'm just fuck it. I don't feel like it doesn't mean anything. So what? And I do it. That's really what
You
it
do
is.
waste.
Yeah, because look, feelings and the pressure that you're mentioning, right? I mean, there used to be a time when ample women, that was like the ideal, right? And now we're looking at the magazines, and at least where I live, it's like the ideal is like kind of skinny and all that. But and even today in different cultures in Africa, for example, where I was, right, there's still ample women is a sign of people doing well, and it's just how we grew up, right? It's the thoughts and feelings that were imprinted on us. And I mean, Bob Proctor speaks about this in length, right? That all that stuff, all these limiting beliefs, they actually are imprinted in us during childhood when we weren't even really thinking much or not at all. And so, if you can recognize that and appreciate and actually start to live that way and just say, well, that's what it was, but I make a different choice now because I'm an adult. And, I don't want to be driven by my feelings every day, because if you are driven by the feelings, I repeat,
Whoa.
that's a problem. You
Yes.
repeat your past. That's what
Yes.
Joe Dispenza, all these gurus say. If you are driven by your feelings, you're not creating nothing but a repetition of the past. Same patterns that you don't want, you're going to recreate in different colors, with different people, with different problems. You're going to recreate them. But that's why you got to make a choice and say, okay, I'm an adult now. I'm not going to I pay attention to my feelings. It's good. They're here to tell me something, but you still have the power to make a different choice, right? And that's what, my coach helped me with that, right? He believed in me,
Yeah.
and he was just saying it's structural, and, you just do it and you start doing it. And then that's the beautiful thing. You start to get results. And then that changes it changes your experience. You're like, oh, okay, so this is working, let me do more of that, and you get better results. And then all of a sudden you have so much momentum that nothing can stop you. And especially not, a shitty day or some shitty comment from somebody, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what's the trigger. We get them all the time,
Yeah.
right?
So tell me, what's your trick?
What's my trick?
Yeah.
My trick for what? To
To If you have a shitty day or like a shitty feeling, and
I have many, like
uh,
many ways to deal with that. I'm a communicator. I like talking.
okay.
That's it. So I just talk it. I need to talk with someone, whether
Mhm.
that is my friend, my dad, my like whomever it is. Like I just need to talk it through, and then I feel good.
Cool.
It's
Simple
very
also, right?
simple. It is
Yes.
very simple. If I talk, then that's fine. I'm happy. That's the simplest
Beautiful.
one.
See?
Or I meditate.
Hmm.
And then I'm like, and basically I meditate to do exactly what you say. Because otherwise my emotions and thoughts, they are like, blah, roller coaster. And then basically with meditation, I force myself. It's not that I force myself, but like the mind stops, like the chatter stops. Therefore, I'm more like, oh, that was just my mind when I finish the meditation. And actually, the past year, I have, in addition to meditation, I've been breathing a lot, like pranayama breathing. And pranayama breathing, sometimes I do it in the office. Like if I'm in a meeting, let's say, and I start getting like nervous or something, I just like people don't notice that I'm breathing, right? But it's like I am doing breathing exercises. What, of course, while I'm not talking. But it's yeah. Otherwise, it's
Like,
like, oh,
hold on, I gotta breathe.
well, yeah, exactly right. It's like, well, I'm not talking. Like I do some breathing exercises, and that helps my mind calm down.
Mhm.
Or just like proper, like 5 minutes, 15 minutes. I have a sequence that I follow, and then I just like that ensures that I ground myself. So between meditation and talking, that's it. I'm sorted.
And see, it's also about, so the way you explain it to me is like you've tried different things and you know
Yes,
yourself, you know what's
yes,
working, right?
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's why also I'm a huge fan of trying new things, right? Because you never know, right? You can never try everything, but I mean, if we have something that works for us, we know it, never
yes.
change a winning team.
Yes, that's a very good point. Like trying different. I've tried like so many things, so many, like journaling, gratitude, exercise, like all the different tools that we can use. But at least today, the combination that works best for me is this one. But it has changed over time. Before I
Yeah.
used to write a lot.
I mean, we also evolve, right? I mean,
Exactly.
as human
Exactly.
beings. So, but yeah, it's beautiful. It's good. It's a process, and also that's Monica. That's an important thing I reckon is that a lot of people they want to be perfect. They want to get it right. Like as they want to be enlightened almost. Like they want to jump if they're in the personal development journey. They want to be in where they are. They're going to be in 20 years. They want to be there now. But that's not how it works. We just work with what we have, and it is what it is. You are where you are, and that's where we're gonna start working from, right? And it's
Yes.
not good. It's not bad. It just is.
Oh, that's a very good point. I do that a lot. I even have a sign, like a write up here in the house, that it's exactly. It is not good. It is not bad. It just is. There is no judgment. So when there's days that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a crier, right? Or at least I've been less and less, but I've been a crier for a long time. But whenever that shows up, like I just cry. I cry it out, and I used to judge my cry. And now it's more of oh, I just needed a cry, and then I sleep, and then that's it, and then I'm fine. But I stopped judging me feeling whatever frustration, sadness, or whatever emotion I was feeling at the time. Stop judging it. Just be like, oh yeah, I'm human. Of course you're feeling like funky for whatever reason. Sometimes it's just hormones, sometimes it's like something happened. But either way, it's more of a stop judging that thing that happened, or the tears, or the anger. Let's say I'm a crier, but some people are like angry, and then they snap at people or just get like burst of anger. I don't, but some people do. But either way, it's like I think most of the challenges come with us having that range of emotions, but it's not the emotion. It's the afterthought after the emotion that we're like, oh, I should have not cried. Oh, I should have not been angry. Oh, I should have not been frustrated. Oh, I should have not blah, blah, blah. But if it's just like, it's just what it is. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just expressing emotion. It's so much easier to, life is so much easier since I've done that. You just
That
feel angry. Fine, I'm angry. Don't talk to me now.
yeah, yeah. I, that's so we've used that, or I am using it with my athletes. Like imagine because what you're saying is exactly how it goes in. Imagine a football player, right? On in like a big game, right? And the football player is making a shitty pass. And instead of just looking at it, okay, that was a shitty pass, he's gonna start to say like it happens again, right? Like 5 minutes later, happens again, shitty pass. And it's like, oh, I'm really passing badly today. Then it happens again, and he's going to go to, I'm a bad passer. Then he's going to go, I'm a bad football player, to, I suck, to I'm no good. And it goes bam, 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 bam. And with what happens with the confidence? Gone in no time, because it's that downward spiral. And then, all the confidence is gone, and the pressure is on, and they're performing even worse. But it's so fast, and it all comes, as you said, starts with not making a bad pass. The spiral starts when you judge yourself for it.
Yes.
Yeah. And you give it energy. You give it more energy, right? Instead of just stating objectively what happened, you start to make it mean things about you, right? I mean, it's the same in life. If somebody makes a shitty comment about you, and say your podcast, for example, if it could just be a comment, but if you make it mean, you take it personal, and then the whole thing starts. It's like, why did she say that? Like, what did I do wrong? And all these things, right?
Yeah.
And it's just that one.
The distinction.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's one
yeah,
thought.
yeah.
That's
But
it.
that's why awareness is so important, because people who go in the downward spiral and do judge themselves, right? They're not aware that it's happening. But if that's why awareness, we always say, is the fuel of basically everything, because when you're aware of it, you have a choice all of a sudden, right? You can say, oh, okay, I see it. And in the beginning, you maybe see it in the aftermath, but then next time a similar situation comes, like, you see it
You
coming.
start saying, yeah, you see it coming. Yeah.
Yeah. And you
You see it
start
coming.
to even get a feeling about, these people, when you speak to them and you hear the word but coming, you hear it. You just know it's coming. They agree with you, and then there's the
I
but.
know. Yes,
You hear
yes,
it
you
before
hear it.
they even
Yes, you
start.
hear it. Yes, yes.
You can hear it easy.
Yeah.
And it's like that, Oh, and that is intuition as well, right? It's like a sense of that, where it's going, and it's very similar with this.
With
Yeah,
our minds. You just
yeah.
touched on that. I love that kind of thought process. Like we went deep, as in how people really think, and it just takes like one thought to then start going through the chain to then you use the word confidence. You start losing your confidence. So before we go into the hey, we know how to lose confidence. So
Yeah.
we know that. How do we build confidence in your eyes?
Um, so again, very, very easy. Hi. So confidence, in my experience, and I'm happy to learn more and about this. Right, if there's a faster way, but in my experience, confidence is built step by step.
Yeah.
Doesn't come overnight.
No.
And what I can say, I can speak for myself. Right, is like there's a premise, or like a premise that we use, right? And I'm not saying it's the truth, but it's given me good results and my clients, and that is, if you learn something and you apply it, that creates success. And then that success, no matter how small it is, it will encourage more learning.
Yeah.
And so what I do, like the magic, right, and like the law of attraction and effort, like what I do is, like, for example, I tell them, next time you want a parking space in the city of Zurich, which is a pain in the ass to park, before you leave the house, you just ask the universe and you visualize that you have a parking space where you want it, for example, right? And if they actually apply it, and then they go in the city, and it happens, right, because it often does happen, there's like, that shit works, right? Strange. Okay. And they are encouraged to learn more about it, because why wouldn't you when you're creating success? And that's how you build confidence, if you apply what you're learning. And the problem is, though, if you learn stuff and you don't apply it, it actually works against you. It's not neutral, it works against you, because your subconscious mind, that's how I learned it, right? And I really found this to be true. Your subconscious mind just observes what you're doing. And if I'm learning something that I just know is powerful stuff, right, that could change my life to the better, that, like intuition things, I'm learning this, but I'm not applying it. My subconscious is going, well, he's not powerful. He's learning this stuff that could change his life,
And
but
what
he's
do you
not
say?
applying it. He's powerless. He doesn't, he's not
Oh,
confident. He doesn't have the power, right? And that message. And then you go, and the worst is you don't apply it. And then you go on and learn something
something
else,
else, and you don't apply
and
it.
something else. And you become like a personal development junkie, and you end up having all these concepts in your head, and you can speak to everybody about it, but you're applying none of it, and you're not getting the results. And actually, it works very much against you, because you get frustrated and you don't understand why it's working for others and not for you. So that's what I would say: to build confidence, learn something that you intuitively know would be good for you, and fucking apply it.
Do it, and then like I like exactly. I use that concept and then enhance it a little bit. That it's like once I have a win, I just call them like micro wins, and then it's like it's a micro win, but it's a win.
Yep.
So it's like it's a win. Therefore, I'm like yes, and I did this today, and I celebrate it. And it's like yes, it's a small step, and I celebrate it, and I celebrate it, and that helps me build that momentum as well.
Perfect.
Yeah,
That's what I would say. No matter how small it is, you're
it is a
creating
win.
momentum like that. I mean, how does an avalanche start? It starts with a little, I don't know, like a little rock that comes down, and then, yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah,
after a while, it's like, how there could be a whole forest, and the avalanche doesn't give a shit, right? It's just
yeah,
right over. That's
yeah.
what momentum is. That's literally the definition of it. So it starts small, but it will create. And then you're just, all of a sudden, like, happiness comes, gratitude comes,
Exactly,
that these
exactly,
things, and then,
exactly. And then it's
right?
just like you've got the momentum. Like when we started, you asked me, "Oh, how are you?" I'm like, "Oh, life is good, life is great." But I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't even have a reason why. It's just like,
yeah,
"Oh, life is good," and
yeah,
it's the result of that momentum, of that
mhm,
celebration, of that
yeah.
awareness, of all of that, basically,
All of it,
of all of it,
relationships, all of it,
all of
right?
it, all of it. Yeah,
I mean, think of a salesperson in the corporation. Say there's a new product coming out, and you take two salespeople, one that has had the best quarter before and has all broken all their records, happy with the wife. Let's say it's two men, right? Like with the kids, everything going well. You have another sales guy who's been struggling the last quarter. You take them and you give them the new product and say, go and sell it. Who do you think is going to do better? Even if they have the same education, the same amount of experience, it's going to be so obvious that the guy who has momentum on his side or her side is just gonna outperform it. It's gonna be easy, effortless. He's gonna have fun while doing it. He's gonna be present, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And just building on that, because I think you touched a really good point. I think what you just described is kind of the definition of success. That it's like, hey, when you are in that place, where you have that momentum. And that just came to my mind that we were speaking.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if it makes sense, but it's like you have someone who has that momentum, that energy, that happiness, the relationships work, but it's not like from a materialistic perspective. It's more like that person is in flow and it's leveraging all this energy. And to me, that's kind of success. Like you won. Of
So
course
is
we
that your
want.
definition?
I don't know. No, I don't know. I was thinking about it as you were talking. But that kind of, I was like, oh, that sounds like when you're in that place, like you're happy. Well, it's maybe not like success. It's like you are fully present,
Mm-hmm.
enjoying what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just,
I don't know.
um,
I'm like, now I'm deviating, but yeah.
but I mean, it's cool, like to explore these concepts. The success, I actually, is a very good question. I have my own definition of success, but I think it comes from where I come from, and it's like for myself, right? But what you just said with being present, because I mean, I think we can acknowledge, right? We can all acknowledge that when we're present, we are receptive to, because intuition, bliss, joy, it happens in the moment. Like laughter, it happens in the moment, right? That deep connection with somebody, it happens in the moment. And I think it's actually pretty good, huh? Just to be present. that that could be it. Yeah. I mean, for me, it was always like to be authentically me, but I think it's like specifically to me because I always had a, a burden on me that I put on myself, obviously, right? But to uphold an image about how successful I am, and like make things look better than I really am, and so for me, it was like when I could finally be me, right? There's a lot of energy that freed up, but I think that's specific to my type, kind of. There's other people that want, it's different, but being present, I think, is for all the types that we can imagine. Being present will make them successful, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
because if you are kind of like being present means your mind is here.
it's here.
Your mind is here. It's not like we're having this conversation and I'm thinking about what am I going to have for dinner. It's like
Right.
mind is here. Therefore, you're properly engaged in what you're doing. And then you listen. You listen to that intuition. You listen to that second good thought that you doubted at the beginning. So you stop doubting. Yeah.
So, and there's these. I tell that my clients, sometimes that there's these secret agents of the universe that have information, important information for you, right? And they come as like, hey, we have important information for Monica. Is she here? It's like, nah, she's not here. Where is she? We don't know. And then they come back next day, right? And it's like, we have important information for Monica. Is she here? No, where is she? We don't know. She's lost in time, right? And they can't pass on the information because you're not here.
Yeah.
And we're all going, but it's just the mind, right? It's just the mind, the
Yeah.
heart, intuition, the higher self wants to be here. So,
Yeah.
yeah, good stuff.
Cool. Cool.
Truth.
Yeah. So, what could be your final remarks for everyone listening in the context of this conversation?
What could be my final remarks? I mean, I could just say from my personal experience, right? I mean, if any one of you had seen me, say like 5 years ago when I was still in banking, right? and you came to me and you told me about my higher self and intuition and that everything is connected in spirituality, I would have told you to fuck off, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the coaches, he managed to kind of crack the shell and just plant a seed there that there is more than I'm aware of, and that I'm very opinionated, and that those opinions come from my past and all these things, right? And I was like, what if that guy is right? And that has changed my life, right? So if with the conversation that we're having, what we're talking about, if that just a little bit resonates, I would just encourage you to whatever you want to do, but dig deeper and find out more about it, because it's real. It's not some, and there's, as we said, right, there's evidence and research and people who've been doing it for thousands of years. It's been around, and that shit works, right? And it's just the quality of life will change beyond what we can imagine. And I think that continues to go like that. And it never stops, because there's Monica, there's a very good, and I'll leave you with that, right? There's a very good story with Kobe Bryant, right? Before he died, he actually told one of his coaches from earlier in the days, after everything that he has accomplished with the Lakers and basketball, I mean, and he's inspired millions of people, like half the world knows him, right? And he told his ex-coaches, like, watch me, I'm just getting started, right? And he said that because he wanted to get into movies and like things like that. And so you see, even Kobe, who's done all these things, he was thinking, I'm just getting started. And that's what it is. Every day you go again, it's like, I'm just getting started, right? And
Oh, I love that.
yeah, every day. And I mean, he was a smart man. It's too bad he went too early, but yeah. So that's what I would say. What about you?
What's my
Yeah.
final remarks? Oh wow.
Mhm.
It's the first time that someone asks that. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
well.
the one that asked the question. What are my final remarks?
Mhm.
I think it is speak. Speak up. Listen to your heart and speak up. I think there's a lot of us that we listen to our hearts, and then there's fear of either saying the truth, like expressing those dreams, or saying, hey, this is not working. So if you basically, what that helps us is to honor, it's not speaking up, but it's like honoring our heart. So it's like take the space to listen to your heart, and then honor your heart, what your heart wants, by speaking up either what you want or what you don't want, so that then there's real alignment between heart and action, really.
Mhm.
And once you speak that out to the world, even telling like one person, then it's like, oh, I said that. Like, oh, I
Mhm.
did that. And then it starts helping with the momentum. That could be my final
Beautiful.
remark. Yes.
Beautiful.
Oh, wow. That was amazing. Thank you, David. It's been an amazing episode. Everyone, hope you enjoyed. And do send us your comments, your questions. Before we go, David, where can we find you?
So yeah, good question. I think
Yeah, it's
it's
like I
the
almost forgot, but where can we find you?
well, the thing is, I just changed my website, so I think the easiest would be on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. If you just find David Karasek, I think you'll find me. Yeah, so I think that would be the easiest. I would love to, yeah, connect with like-minded people, and it's always good, huh? So thanks for, by the way, thanks for the lovely chat, huh? I was very present. I hope you were too. I enjoyed it, loved it.
Totally present. I totally loved it. Thank you so much. And everyone, see you next week. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Speak next week. Ciao, ciao.